Alcatraz versus Evil Librarians, Chapter 4, page 56. Can I bring lots of weapons? Sing asked carefully. Whatever you deem necessary, Sim. Grandpa Smedry said, You're the specialist, but go quickly. We're going to be late. Sing nodded, dashing back down his hallway. And you, Grandpa Smedry asked Clinton? I'm fine, the short man said, but, my lord, don't you think we should tell Bastille what we're doing? Jabber and Jordan's no. Grandpa Smedry said, Absolutely not. I forbid it. She's not going to be happy, Clinton said. Nonsense, Grandpa Smedry said. She enjoys being ignored. It gives her an excuse to be grumpy. Now, since we have to wait for Sing to get his weapons, I'm going to go get something to eat. I was clever enough to pack some lunch for myself and the lad. Coming, Alcatraz? I shrugged, and we made our way out through the cooler, passing the armored knights, and walked back into the shop. Grandpa Smedry nodded to the two hillbilly attendants, then walked out toward his car, apparently going to grab the briefcases stuffed with food. I didn't follow him. At that point, I still felt a little overwhelmed by what was happening to me. Part of me couldn't believe what I had seen, so I decided to see if I could figure out how they were hiding that huge room inside. I turned, wandering around to the back of the small service station. Then, I carefully paced off the length of its walls. The building was a rectangle, 10 paces long on two sides, 18 paces long on the other two, yet the room inside had been far larger. A basement, I wondered? Yes, I realized that it took me quite some time to accept that the place was magical. You free kingdomers really have no idea what it's like to live in librarian-controlled areas, so stop judging me and just keep reading. I kept at it, trying to figure out some logical explanation. I squatted down on the hot tar-stained concrete, trying to find a slope in the ground. I stood up, eyeing the back of the building, which was set with a small window. I grabbed a broken chair from a nearby dumpster, then climbed up to peek into the window. I couldn't see anything through the dark glass. I pressed my face against it, bumping my glasses against the window, and shaded the sunlight with my hand, but I still couldn't see inside. I leaned back, sighing, but then it seemed as if I could see something, not through the window, but alongside it. The edge of the window seemed to fuzz just a little bit, and I get the distinct, strange impression that I could see through the wall siding. I pulled off my glasses. The illusion disappeared, and the wall looked perfectly normal. I put them back on, and nothing really changed. Yet as I stared at the wall, I felt the odd sense again, as if I could just barely see something. I cocked my head, teetering on the broken chair. Finally, I reached up a hand, laying it against the white siding. Then, I broke it. I didn't really do much. I didn't have to twist, pull, or yank. I just rested my hand against the wall for a moment, and one of the siding planks popped free and toppled to the ground. Through the broken section, I could see the true wall of the building. Glass. The entire wall was made up of deep lavender glass. I saw through the siding. I thought, was it my glasses that let me do that? A footstep sounded on the gravel behind me. I jumped, almost slipping off the chair, and there he was, the man from my house, the caseworker, or whatever he was, with the suit and the gun. I wobbled, feeling terror rise again. Of course he would chase us. Of course he would find us. What was I thinking? Why hadn't I just called the police? Lad, Grandpa Smedry's voice called. He appeared around the corner, holding an open briefcase smeared with ketchup. Your sandburger is ready. Aren't you hungry? The man with the gun spun around, weapon still raised. Don't move, he yelled nervously. Stay right there. Grandpa Smedry asked, still walking. Grandpa, I screamed, as the case worker pulled the trigger. The gun went off. There was a loud crack, and a chunk of siding blew off the building right in front of Grandpa Smedry. The old man continued to walk along, smiling to himself, looking completely relaxed. The caseworker fired again, then again. Both times the bullets hit the wall right in front of Grandpa Smedry. Now a true hero would have tackled the man who was shooting his grandfather or done something else equally heroic. I am not a true hero. I stood frozen with shock. Here now, Grandpa Smedry said. What's going on? Looking desperate, the caseworker pointed his gun back at me and pulled the trigger. The consequences, of course, were immediate. The clip dropped out of the bottom of the gun. The top of the weapon fell off. The gun's trigger popped free, propelled by a broken spring. The screws fell out of the gun's sides, dropping to the pavement. The caseworker widened his eyes in disbelief, watching as the last part of the handle fell to pieces in his hand. In a final moment of indignity, the dying gun belched up a bit of metal, an unfired bullet, which spun in the air a few times before clinking down to the ground. The man stared at the pieces of his weapon. Grandpa Smedry paused beside me. I think you broke it, he whispered to me. The caseworker turned and scrambled away. Grandpa Smedry watched him go, a slight smile on his lips. What did you do? I asked. Me, Grandpa Smedry said. No, you're the one who did that. At a distance, even. I've rarely seen a talent work with such power. But it's a shame to ruin a good antique weapon like that. I looked at the gun pieces, my heart thumping. It couldn't have been me. I've never done anything like that before. Have you ever been threatened by a weapon before today? Grandpa Smedry said. Grandpa Smedry asked. Well, no. Grandpa Smedry nodded. Panic instinct. Your talent protects you even at a distance. When threatened, It's a good thing that he attacked with such a primitive weapon. Talents are much more powerful against them. Honestly, you'd think the librarians would know not to send someone with a gun against the Smedry of the true line. They obviously underestimate you. What am I doing here? I whispered. They're going to kill me. Nonsense, lad, Grandpa Smedry said. You're a Smedry. We made of tougher stuff than the librarians give us credit for. Ruling the hush ones for so long has made them sloppy. I stood quietly. Then I looked up. We're really going to go into the library, the place where these guys come from? Isn't that kind of stupid? Yes, Grandpa Smedry said, speaking for once with a quiet solemnity. You can stay back if you wish. I know how this must all seem to you. Overwhelming, terrifying, strange. But you must understand me when I say our task is vital. We make a terrible mistake. Well, we made a terrible mistake. I've made a terrible mistake by letting those sands get into the wrong hands. I'm going to make it right before thousands upon thousands of people suffer. But isn't there anyone else who could do this? Grandpa Smedry shook his head. Those sands will be forged into lenses before the day is out. Our only chance, the world's only chance, is to get them before that happens. I nodded slowly. Then I'm going, I said. You can't leave me behind. Wouldn't dream of it, Grandpa Smedry said. Then he glanced up at the wall, where I had broken it. You do that? I nodded again. Nagging Nixes, you really do have quite the skill for breaking things. Grandpa Smedry said. Must have been hard for you when you were younger. I shrugged. What kinds of things can you break? Grandpa Smedry asked. All kinds of things, I said. Doors, electronics, tables. Once I broke a chicken. A chicken? I nodded. It was on a field trip. I got kind of frustrated and picked up a chicken. When I put it down, it immediately lost all of its feathers, and from then on refused to eat anything but cat food. Breaking living things, Grandpa Smedry mumbled to himself. Extraordinary. Untamed, yes, but extraordinary nonetheless. I pointed at the building, hoping to change the subject. It's a glass box. Yes, Grandpa Smedry said. Expander's glass. If you make space inside of it, you can push out the walls inside without pushing out the walls inside without pushing out the walls on the outside. That's impossible. It disobeys the laws of physics. We should have paid a lot of attention to physics. That's just librarian talk, Grandpa Smedry said. You've got a lot to learn, lad. Come on, we need to get moving. We're late. I allowed myself to be led away past the 3 bullet holes in the siding. They missed, I said, almost to myself. It's a good thing that man has such bad aim. Grandpa Smedry laughed. Bad aim? He didn't have a chance of hitting me. I arrived late to every shot. Your talent can do some great things, my boy, but it's not the only powerful ability around. I've been arriving late to my own death since before you were born. In fact, once I was so late to an appointment that I got there before I left. I paused, trying to work through that last statement, but Grandpa Smedry waved me on. We rounded the building. Quentin and Singh stood with one of the station attendants, talking quietly. Singh had a good dozen different guns strapped to his body. He wore 2 holsters on each leg, 1 holster on each upper arm, and 1 underneath each arm. These are complemented by a couple of Uzis tucked into his sash, and what looked like a shotgun tied to his back in a kind of sword-like fashion. Oh dear, Grandpa Smedry said. He's not supposed to show them off like that, is he? No, I said. Could we peace bond them, you think? I don't know what that is, I said, but I doubt it would help. Still, after getting shot at, the sight of Singh with all those weapons did make me feel a little uncomfortable. Until I realized that if we were going to be bringing an arsenal like that, what would our enemies have? Oh well, Grandpa Smedry said. I have told him he could bring them. We can hide them in a bag or something. They're really not that dangerous. It's not like he's got a sword or something. Anyway, we need to get moving. We're late. I said yes, I know. Good, then let's. At this point, you should be very annoyed with people getting interrupted mid-sentence. I assure you that I feel the same way. In fact, I think a silver sports car screeched in the parking lot. Its windows were tinted, the deepest black, even the windshield, and it had a sleek, ominous design, the make and model of which I couldn't quite place. It was like every spy car I'd ever seen, melded into one. The doors burst open, and a girl, about my age, jumped out. Her hair was silvery, matching the car's paint, and she wore a fashionable black skirt and silver jacket and carried a black handbag. She appeared to be very, very angry. Smedry! She snapped, swatting her purse at Singh as he moved too slowly to get out of her way. What? I asked, jumping back slightly. Not you, lad, Grandpa Smedry said with a sigh. She means me. What? I asked. What did you do? Nothing much, Grandpa Smedry said. I just kind of left her behind. That's Bastille, lad. She's our team's knight. If I'd had any sense, I'd have run away right then. End of chapter 4. So, until next episode, be good.